Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Phoenix King One, also known as Jared Jackson, and with me, as always, is the other half of the dynamic duo, Satan Fish, Mr. Jesse Daniels. And today we're joined by one of my favorite people, Doctor Reverend Mister Bubblicious, Aloysius, Super Delicious, Mark Evans.
That's so funny that you said Aloysius because
Really?
my middle name was almost Aloysius. And I kid you not, that was an actual discussion that my parents had. But
Wow.
thank God someone was like, "No."
I think you could pull it off.
I probably could, but it's just too much work. I mean, Aloysius, that just says, "Oh, I need to go to some sort of Ivy League school." And honestly, I don't belong in the Ivy Leagues.
No.
Who really does?
I just want to marry
Douchebags.
rich and marry old. So like I'm gonna marry an old person that's rich, an old lady, and just coast out the rest of my life on that money. I'll be a sugar baby. I don't care.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan for you.
Yeah.
That's the best plan you have come up with for your life so far.
Plus,
Thank you, Mark.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's good work.
Plus, you would be delicious coated in caramel.
Ooh, wait. Time out. Time out. I didn't sign up for cannibalism.
I was like, wow,
Hey, man, you're the one that said you wanted to be a sugar baby.
yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking more like of a nougat center.
Nougat?
Nougat.
I am a peanut butter center. If we are gonna be completely honest,
Chunky
peanut butter
or-
M&Ms to be exact.
Chunky or creamy. This could be a whole podcast on
Uh,
what type of peanut butter you are.
Chunky.
Oh, yeah,
Duh. That's why we're
absolutely.
called Project Overload,
That's,
because we're fat guys bringing the world great entertainment.
Plus, Jared just enjoys being full of nuts.
yeah. He likes grabbing those nuts. They're the best.
Maybe.
Jared's over here deciding which one of our mics he's going to pull.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah, I think-
and you're
Well, I
done.
can't. Mark controls my grades. I should say he is our professor here at the Great Emerging Tech. I plugged you last week. I don't know if you heard.
I did hear.
I didn't do it as good as Logan, because Logan's like, at this point, he's completely brown from all the ass kissing.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. Logan, what you think about?
Oh, yeah. Nothing? Okay, we'll get back to you later.
He's very,
He's a deep thinker.
yes,
A deep thinker.
good with words.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Okay,
Really gets his
I'll
point
go with
across.
what you guys are telling me on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, how's work been going, Mark?
It's actually been going pretty well. The program is getting stronger and stronger. We are up to close to 180 different people who are in some process of graduation. We're one of the fastest growing programs on campus. Video game design in the fall is going to be crazy. It looks like I may have to add an extra section, which means that I will have to find someone to teach an extra section because, yeah, Daddy's not going to do that because that's a lot.
I think Dre to do it.
I could ask DeAndre, but unfortunately, he does not have the right degree.
Okay.
What degrees would be required for that?
Well, I would prefer a bachelor's degree in either game theory or game design, which are, you can get at KSU, Kennesaw State. Or if you had some work experience, maybe 5 or 6 years in the industry, where you could come in and impart knowledge. And we'd have to see, what side are you be good on the programming side, or would you be good on the design side? And honestly, the design side, that's where I live. I felt like all of a sudden this turned to an episode of 24. You were about to dash out of here and stop terrorists.
That's right.
So
About that show, I really appreciate the way each season is exactly 24 hours.
well, that
The tie-in for that, and it's a well written concept, well written and executed show. It was awesome.
is this sarcasm or is this?
No, I'm serious.
Wow,
It's so hard to tell with Jesse.
it is. I mean, because it's like
He talks like very, very well spoken, but he talks one way. He's like, "Hey, blah 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 blah." I've never heard like he has inflection, but the tone, I don't think I've ever heard you change.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I did like the concept, but I think they kind of ruined it with this 24 Legacy.
oh yeah.
That was just bad.
I like the actor, I just don't
Did it-
like.
Did it even last very long?
No, it lasted a season, and they didn't even get all 24 hours. It was like hour 13, and they were like, "Yeah, this show sucks.
Kind of
Let's
like
kill everybody."
what happened with the Heroes comeback.
That's like, you know what the Heroes comeback is? It is the Battlestar Galactica 1980 of your generation.
You know what?
I actually
Yeah.
watched Battlestar Galactica from the 1980s because Netflix decided it wanted to have all the Battlestar Galacticas on there, and I agree.
Just
It was
Yeah.
awful.
watching,
Well, yeah, Battlestar Galactica 1980 was the worst because when Battlestar Galactica came out, I was 8 years old, and I remember, and my dad's a Southern Baptist preacher, and it was coming out Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and I was like, I got to see this, Dad, and this was before VHS and everything else.
When
And
the TiVo,
Yeah, or it was going to be a cultural event, because we just seen Star Wars the year before, and Star Wars was amazing, and my dad saw Star Wars and he liked it. I mean, we saw it like 10 times in the theater, he and I. So I mean, I remember begging him. I'm like, please, Dad, it's just one Sunday night. Just let me have this one Sunday night with Battlestar Galactica. I promise I'll praise Jesus super loud Sunday morning and again the next Sunday. And he let me. He let me watch Battlestar Galactica. And it was amazing. I mean, you never seen anything like it on television. And then every week it was just like, what? What? I mean, it was just like one thing after another. And then there was a cliffhanger, and then ABC canceled it
It was
because
the lost of your generation.
yeah, it was just awful. I mean, and then we hear, 1979, we're like, oh, so sad. Then 1980 comes, Battlestar Galactica 1980, we're like, yes, they're coming back. And then it's like, oh my God, what is this? It was just awful.
All I'm hearing is it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh,
Because as a child, I was like, oh my God, I love Spider-Man comics. This is going to be great. And
Oh,
I see the movie.
those
And-
movies dropped me out of Spider-Man so hard.
Well, you know what? It's not even that. Because the casting, other than that, was great. I love James Franco as Harry Osborn.
Yep.
Willem Dafoe is the only Green Goblin.
William Dafoe is such a wonderful person to have in any film because he either super overreacts to everything or he super underreacts to everything, so he might as well be overreacting to it.
It's kind of like his death in Platoon. It was just glorious.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
arms spread out. I love how in what is Tropic Thunder, how like Ben Still at the beginning kind of does that, but does it like more over dramatic. I love it.
I don't think that's possible.
No, but he comes close. And I tell you what, Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder is my favorite part when he curses out all of the like bad Viet Cong dudes.
Oh,
It was great.
So I saw Platoon, and that was the in-flight movie on my way to basic training. So imagine that. It was like,
That's got to be a fun
what
experience.
that was planned.
what have I got myself into?
Well, at least it wasn't. What's that Pauly Shore movie?
Oh, in the Army?
Yes,
Yeah.
that could have been.
I've only
my movie.
seen one Pauly Shore movie, and that's Biodome. And I only watched it for Stephen Baldwin. And after that, I was like, come on,
Stephen Baldwin is uber Christian movie maker now.
Oh, yeah.
I love Stephen Baldwin.
If you look at, though, that Pauly Shore movie, In the Army, it is honestly closest to what the Army was like than any movie I've ever seen.
So how often were you butt ass naked out in the desert?
There was a lot of times.
It happens.
I
man.
mean, that's why God invented baby wipes, because you're out there, it's not like it's shower time. Water is for drinking, and you learn that real quick, because it's hot out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever experienced that type of desert heat, but it sucks.
Desert Heat was another good movie.
Yes, Desert Heat was a good one. I was talking with somebody, and when I went into basic training, they were training us to go fight in Vietnam again. I mean, because we were down in Columbus, Georgia, and we were walking around, and all of our squad tactics and everything were built for dense forest, basically rainforest crap. And I wound up, in the desert, so far removed from the biodome that I had been prepared to fight for. It was like, well, this is great.
Awesome.
All right.
I liked Apocalypse Now. It's still one of my favorite war movies. It's so fun to watch Martin Sheen and like Tidy Whities keep punching, and seeing that opening monologue in the movie still gets me. And I'll admit it, as like a little 10-year-old Jared, I tried to recreate that scene doing karate in my Spider-Man underwear.
Charlie, don't surf, man.
Oh God.
That was so great.
My favorite Army movie is Good Morning Vietnam.
That is probably one of my favorite Robin Williams movies. My favorite has to be. You know what? I haven't thought about this in a while. I like Man of the Year a lot. I think it's funny.
Best presidential candidate I've ever seen in my life.
And then you have you guys seen Angriest Man in Brooklyn?
I haven't actually.
I liked him in The Fisher King.
That's a
I
good
think
one.
that's one of those underrated movies where you really got to see the range of his acting.
He was really good in Bicentennial Man, which is not the greatest movie he's done.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed him and Oliver Platt made it better.
I like Oliver Platt in anything he does. I just think he is like if there's a movie that's going to suck, i.e., Three Musketeers, Walt Disney style, you throw Oliver Platt in there and he saves the film.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
that was
stupid wrestling movie he did.
that was
back
one
in
of
the
my
early
favorite
2000s.
films growing up. By the way, was the Three Musketeers.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great. I mean think about it. Think of the star power of that film.
All you got to say is
Right.
Tim Curry, and I'm there.
Yeah, you got Tim Curry as the oversexed bishop. You got who was it Leonardo? Or no, that's Man in the Iron Mask. Sorry,
Yeah.
That's the one
Sequel.
with John
John Malkovich.
as
Yeah.
I love,
So you got
I
Charlie
love him
Sheen.
too.
Beep beep 24 guy. We were just talking about him.
Keith Sutherland.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland and Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
And then Robin, aka whatever his face is, that
Oh, Chris O'Donnell.
yeah, Chris
Yeah.
O'Donnell is D'Artagnan.
You know, this is the second time Keith Sutherland's come up in this podcast.
It
I talked
is.
about it in the first one about how he's my favorite part of Phone Booth. It's
think-
a horrible movie, but the thing that makes me love it so much is just the concept of Joel Schumacher making a movie surrounded by this one random phone booth in the middle of like.
Well, I feel like they watched his Batman movies and then told him, "No, Joel, you can only have one set."
and no nipples.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I see a nipple, you were dead.
Yeah, DC. They put the hammer down him. I'm thinking Kiefer Sutherland has now become the new Kevin Bacon. Because
Yeah.
that dude is in everything.
Oh
He
yeah.
is. And
And he's even got his own like new show, which is really, really awesome. So
yeah, he's awesome.
Have you seen Dark City?
no, I haven't seen Dark City.
Yeah, it's Kiefer Sutherland is in it, and it's what is that guy? He was the bad guy in A Knight's Tale.
I know who you're talking about. I can't
Yeah.
think of the actor.
Well, he's the main guy. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it too, and Lord knows you need more Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, you can't have enough Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah.
So.
She's married to Paul. I can't think of his name. Dude who plays
Paul Rudd,
President.
isn't it?
No, it's not Paul Rudd.
No.
Plays,
Pauly
Ant-Man.
Shore. We're back to Pauly
Yeah, it's
Shore.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah,
No,
wouldn't that be
it's,
funny? That's quite a
Maybe I
bit.
messed up his name. It's the dude that plays Vision. I'm blanking on his name. Also in A Knight's Tale with my favorite actor, or one of them, Heath Ledger. He's fun. Just
You know, it's funny we're talking about all this movie stuff, and really, you know, to kind of segue it back into emerging technology, just for a brief moment, so that way my boss doesn't get too upset with me. You know, part of the reason why we started this program was because of the industry, the movie and television industry that's coming to Georgia. You know, today I was listening to the radio and they were talking about it. And last year there was $600 million spent in the state of Georgia for making film. I mean, it was just, I mean, that's just a crazy stat to think about. Before 2008, it was like $4 million.
Yeah.
And now, 10 years later, we're looking at a $600 million, close to $1 billion industry.
Covington's actually getting their own studio.
yeah,
Three
that's
Ring Studios is coming to Covington.
my old stomping grounds down there in Covington, Georgia. Also known as probably one of my least favorite places on the planet Earth.
Well, they're about to get a lot of tax revenue from this.
Oh, they are, and it's going to be great for the community. But the problem I had is I grew up in an area that was all like those suburban cowboys. Had the jacked up Fords or Chevys, big belt buckle, but there wasn't a speck of dirt on their truck. And if you keep your truck clean, that's fine. But I know for a fact the majority of the people I knew never even thought about taking it to a mud hole. And I knew like the daddy's money kids that did that. And I was like, whatever. And I knew legitimate country kids. But growing up as a nerd in that environment was a whole lot of fun. I had like my set group of friends. We'd sit at lunch table and do this and just talk about comic books and stuff.
Oh yeah, I grew up as a nerd in a small rural community as well.
Madison County High School?
No,
No?
thank God,
Oh, thank God.
no. Actually, it was Jackson County.
Oh, even better.
Yeah,
Where the men are men and they're all racist too. That's fabulous.
it was great.
Yeah.
A lot of
God
fun.
bless America.
Yeah, I don't know if you read that in the paper, but the representative from Jefferson just got kicked out of the educational committee because he started sending all of these articles about how the Civil War was not about slavery in any way, shape, or fashion. And my favorite one is "Black people need to get over it. The Civil War was not about slavery." That was the title of this scholarly piece of work. Wow.
When I was in 8th grade, the way that it was taught to me in Georgia studies was that it was all states' rights, no slavery. No, slavery's not a thing.
Yep.
That guy actually got elected to be a representative for Georgia.
Yeah.
The guy that was my 8th grade teacher.
I had an IEP growing up because I'm super ADHD, so I had co-teach classes, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened because I had a teacher named Dr. Waters, who was the person I single-handedly say helped further and cement my love for history. He taught about World War II, and during that week, he has like a bunch of old memorabilia. He has a actual Nazi youth armband, an original like decommissioned 1911 that he brought in, had like a Garen, all this stuff. And he also took an entire week to talk about medieval torture devices. So I know that if your wife gets mouthy, just bust out the pair.
Iron Maiden, not actually a medieval torture device.
Nope.
But a hell of a band.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was always more of a Metallica guy, but I love Iron Maiden too.
Oh, yeah. Black Sabbath.
Metallica puts on the best show
They
by far.
The 12-year-old son of the drummer for Metallica is now the lead bassist for Korn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lars
Lars.
Ulrich.
Then you got Keith Richards, who's been dead for about 50 years, but his body doesn't realize it. It's because of all the coke and ecstasy he does.
A lot of things keeping him together.
Yeah. Did you know that Keith Richards, he wrote that song, Angie, right? Angie, he wrote that
Mhm.
song. He wrote that song to his wife because he was afraid that she was having an affair with Mick Jagger.
I mean, Mick Jagger did sleep with everyone on the face of the planet.
Yeah,
back then.
I
mean-
think everybody's husbands were.
I got my turn in the early '90s, so
Yeah.
it was good.
David Bowie never gave up his turn.
Yeah, those are some very soft lips. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I'm gonna say this right now though. Mick Jagger and David Bowie gave us the best bromance video of the 1980s.
Yes, they did.
That is
Dancing
true.
in the streets. Yeah.
Oh my God, Bowie. Like I have some buddies that were into Bowie, and when he died, I was sad, but I wasn't like heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because for me, 80s music that I would love was Queen, and the guy who I loved in the band was already dead. So
Yeah.
it's not like there's no love lost there. Plus,
Yeah.
Queen's like the first to really throw on like that theatric. I can prove it. Look at Bohemian Rhapsody. It has opera and a rock song.
But believe it or not, I'm actually old enough to remember when Freddie Mercury was alive. So.
I am as well.
I'm the baby on this podcast.
You are. You're just a youngin.
Yeah, it's funny because like everyone complains, oh, these stupid millennials, all they ever did was play video games. I did, but I also played outside a lot when I was a kid. I had to use my imagination.
Oh
My
yeah.
parents wouldn't buy like cable.
I think millennials get the baddest rap out of any generation ever.
I'll admit that there are some of us millennials that deserve it.
Have you seen my generation?
Yeah.
I mean, we're the ones who raised you guys, and
Darn Gen
and so we
Xers.
get all the Gen Xers.
Those
I
baby
mean,
boomers,
and we get all angsty about when you guys are doing whatever, and it's like, well, hold on a second here. Let's just think about our role and responsibility. Like, it's not like the kids were like, "Hey, mom, dad, let's make sure everybody gets a trophy." I mean, it's like, well, that's the world that we hey,
Participation
everybody gets a
trophies.
goodie bag when they go to your birthday party.
Oh man, participation trophies.
This is also like brings in another little segment we like to do here on the Project Overload. Something I like to call Ethical Corner. And Mark set this one up. Is it ethical for the fact that we millennials get such a bad rap? I don't think it is. I didn't do anything. I mean, yes, I play an obscene amount of Rainbow Six Siege and Halo. But that doesn't mean I should be treated like less of a person.
Well, I mean, it's not like we destroyed the housing market either.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an ethical issue as much as it is a moral issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the housing thing was done completely within the law.
Yeah, and
I
there's
mean,
an
that's
entire
that's
movie
the
about
crazy
it.
part. And
Yep.
then we put in all of these regulations and restrictions, and now they're all gone. Like Glass-Steagall is gone, and so it is honestly just like 1996 out there in the financial world. So, Jared, if you want a house, go get one. Go pick one out. Make sure it's like $1 million and above, though, and get yourself an adjustable rate mortgage, or as they like to call it, an ARM. All right.
Yeah, no, I've seen The Big Short.
Yeah.
Which is also probably one of my favorite movies of this decade because, for one thing, it shows that Steve Carell is not just a funny guy. He also plays a very mean SOB in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Good God. The best scene in that entire movie is one with Brad Pitt in it. And these two kids that, like, teamed up with him to win against the market. And if you haven't seen it, listeners, please go see it because it tells you a lot about the 2008 crash. But the best thing is, like, these two kids, they're celebrating because they just made billions of dollars on the housing market. And you have Brad Pitt sitting there, it's like, wait, hold on. You guys just realized that you made a bet against people losing their home. Don't get excited. Yes, you won millions, but this is nothing to be proud of. Which, I mean, it's the same thing with, like, the Ray Kroc argument is what I call, because everyone's like, Ray Kroc was a monster. But what he did was ethically right. He did everything in his power to get the McDonald's brothers on board. He saw an opening, and he kicked in that door like the Kool-Aid man.
Yep. And honestly, that when you watch the show, if you've watched the Ray Kroc movie,
Yeah, I have. Awesome.
it's a great film, but it really doesn't hit the real wealth is in the land.
Yeah, I mean, it does a little bit.
Yeah.
That dude from Tasty Freeze is the one that got him on. And then, like, maybe 5 years after, like, they really get big, they get a disagreement. He has to leave. I mean,
What's really funny about that is we actually have had many discussions about how McDonald's makes its money off the land that you're basically renting from them and not the franchises themselves.
That is absolutely 1,000%.
they revolutionized the franchise game. There is a reason why McDonald's is, like, one of the very few global companies.
Oh yeah.
But they support Russian soccer, so there you go.
And McDonald's is definitely one of those companies that owns more land than a lot of countries do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by far.
If McDonald's became, like, the new Skynet,
Could you,
I think I would
could you
be on
imagine if
board.
McDonald's started training its own army?
you what?
Clown troops.
Oh, Jesus.
Cloud snakes.
We're not even going to
That's what
talk
I'm
about
afraid
that
of.
giant purple blob that gave me nightmares as a child.
I love Grimace.
I liked Hamburglar.
You would like the Thief.
Have you seen the Lego Batman?
I
I
have.
have not.
It is so good.
My girlfriend and I went to see that for a date, and best date night ever.
I'm actually going to play it, I think, next Friday. It is that good. It is just so well done.
If I could be here next Friday, I would.
Snake clowns.
It's the
Oh, Jesus
it's
Christ.
the first time that Zach Galifianakis plays the Joker, and surprisingly, he does a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I like the fact. I don't like Will Arnett as Batman, but I can deal with it. But I saw a clip where it's like, you're not even like my top 10 favorite villain.
Yeah, he is amazing as play. He plays that earthy Batman, and there's like, what did you say? Batman, speak up.
Will Arnett's a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, he is something
Though
else.
I will not be happy. I've heard rumors that he could play James Bond. I don't want that.
That will never happen.
I know.
I'm hearing that it's going to be Idris Elba.
I'm fine with that.
I would like it to be Idris Elba, or let's make it a chick.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be pretty good. And
I don't-
I meant to say woman, by the way.
We're
Sorry
keeping it
sorry
PG-13 here,
that
kids.
my Uber stock option kind of
Oh, there's
slipped
that
into
Uber
me.
thing. Oh God, he's an interesting guy.
Their stock must not be worth very much right now. With
No,
the
this is
entire
the time to
management
get
just
on.
leaving.
Oh, it's actually you would think that, but it's notching up because what's going to happen is now that Travis is gone, they're going to go and get an IPO. They're going to go public because they're still privately owned.
Ross-
Most people don't know that. They think that it's this publicly traded company. It is not.
Ross, if you're listening, go buy Uber stock. And as soon as it goes public, I'm telling you, man, you heard it here.
Yeah, I mean,
This is not insider trading. We do not have an inside here.
no, it's just common sense.
We're just looking at the market trends and making a judgment call.
That's right.
We're like Fox Business Network, but not not paid quite as much.
No, but we're much better looking
I
than
know I
Judge
am.
Napolitano.
That's true.
So,
That is true.
who always winds up on there, but he has no. It's like, why are you on here, man? Like, you're a judge. You like sentence people to death. Shouldn't you be like on like Fox Legal or Fox Death Row or something like that?
Well, I mean, it's funny because I understand why he's on like Fox News, but Fox Business Network is just
Yeah,
with like the little skewer or sheet over it saying, "Hey, we're a business network."
yeah. It's
You guys remember Forbes?
We're
That's,
like
that's
that.
what we do now.
yeah. CNBC.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
God.
God, they're the worst. It's like, what are you guys doing? Especially that Mad Money guy. I loved it when Jon Stewart like ripped him a new one. That was great.
I should say that I'm a super conservative libertarian, but there are times I watch Fox News just for a good little giggle. I watch CNN for the same thing.
Yeah.
And like, we're not even gonna get into the whole Kathy Griffin thing because that's funny to me. What's really the best part of the entire situation is that she went on before all like the proverbial shit hit the fan. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna get such a great reaction out of this," and boy, did it backfire. It like,
Well, I would have been like, whatever. Like, seriously, I'd have been. How she got on there and tried to play the victim, and I was like,
that's what gets me.
stop. Now I like Kathy Griffin. Like, I find her funny.
Yeah,
Like,
I enjoy her comedy.
yeah. 10 years ago, I actually had a little thing for Kathy Griffin. Like, she was dating the Waz, right? And I'm thinking, oh, she likes fat white men with brains.
And beards.
Right here. And beards. Right here. This guy right here. But,
Wozniak's a troll.
yeah. Exactly.
Well, I mean, then all Mark's got
I'm
to do
quoting
is
you
find.
when I say that.
You
All
know.
Mark's got to do is find a shiny enough cave.
Yeah, I would have been, yeah.
Or find a Steve Jobs to
It was
take
like,
all the
what?
credit for the work
The
that you did.
Waz. Dude who thought he could fly a plane because he mastered Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Mark,
That is a true ass story.
Was?
Yeah.
I played Flight Simulator when I was a kid, and I don't like to toot my own horn, but let's
Oh.
say that I crashed a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Speaking of planes.
he bought a plane because he wanted to go. He was in San Francisco and needed to get to San Diego, and so there were no planes for him to rent. So he bought one, and reasoned to himself that because he had mastered Microsoft Flight Simulator, that he could fly a plane.
How well did it end up for him, I wonder?
He didn't get off the ground because the tower was like, and he's like, they're like, sir, you're not on the right runway. He's like, I'm Steve Wozniak. I can do what I want. Ah,
I helped create Apple.
I sound like the penguin. I mean, he does. Steve Wozniak is actually the penguin.
Fun fact, his real name's Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to change it. So
That's why they got.
I'm just kidding, Steve. I love you still.
That's why they got Danny DeVito to play him in the movie.
I think Danny DeVito would be like a great Woz. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
think. I mean, if you're talking about that, and let's see, who would,
God.
and these Steve Jobs movies have been terrible
They have.
because no, you can't match that narcissism. You just can't do it.
I'm sure that like maybe in 10 years you could find someone that's really full of themselves, but right now there's no one to do it.
No,
Just check the Dark Triad psychological evaluations to find a good narcissist.
you can't.
Put him in a turtleneck, shave his head, you're good to go.
Yeah, no, you just can't. You just can't.
You
It's
can't-
not.
You can't
It's
get that
humanly not
Jobs
possible.
arrogance.
There is no one who could be that narcissistic and that evil at the same time, and not be Hitler. Okay,
That's a good point.
I mean,
We discovered it here, guys. Steve Jobs was actually Hitler's reincarnation.
he was. He's a terrible, terrible person.
He was, but you know what?
Well, he's no Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg
He's just a goofy moron.
yeah, he is. I
He's
mean,
he's evil light.
he's a nerd who figured out that he was a nerd in Harvard, and then not only was he a nerd, but he was a pirate nerd, and he stole an idea from these two douchebags, and then made billions of dollars out of it. Now, granted, douchebags got paid, but still,
I bet what they got paid was not $1 billion.
no.
Speaking of
No.
that,
And they got universally like ridiculed to the point where they were on a commercial where the people were making fun of them. Like, yeah, we created Facebook, but now we got nothing or something. I was like, why would you do that?
Like, why? Well, they needed a paycheck.
Speaking of the victim card, what about
Yeah.
those McDonald's brothers? They get like, I think the royalty from their grandkids was up to about $3.8 billion. And for those of you guys that haven't seen, basically Ray Kroc was like, oh, wait. I'm fine with giving you guys 2.3 or $2.9 million because they're like 3 sounded a little bit too much. And I'll split it between you guys, but we have to do it off of a handshake. I can't put it in paper. It'll scare the franchisees. So he shakes his hand and completely screws them over. It is probably the most badass move I've ever seen in a movie. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's why Ray Kroc, if I ever want to become an evil businessman, I'm pulling a Ray Kroc. I'm stealing someone's idea and screwing him out of all the royalties.
So
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, but way worse.
Yeah, Steve, I am the conductor of the symphony. That was his big line.
Oh god.
It was like, no, man, you're
A dick.
just a dick.
And then we have Tim Kaine, who's
So-
just like this nice gay British guy.
Just whatever you do, don't pull an IBM and forget to patent the mouse.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was something else.
They create like the first supercomputer that allows us to have space travel. But no one in the entire company thinks that, you know what, patenting this one little item is going to be great.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, thanks for that though,
Yeah.
because now you can get a mouse for like $1.75 at the Circle K.
That is
So-
true. Speaking of mouses, I need one.
And I said Circle K for your West Coast listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I'd have said Golden Pantry, they'd have been like, "The hell is that?" And we'd have to say, "Come to Athens. We have one
Yeah.
or two.
Oh,
We're
you,
the home of the Golden Pantry."
you come to Athens anyway.
Great town.
Yeah. Birthplace of REM.
Also got one of my favorite theaters, the Ovation. Another business plug.
Yeah, Ovation is good. But I had a bad experience there last Saturday. Did you?
Really?
Oh my God, yeah, it was terrible.
Was it the food?
No, well, it was food related. So
Okay.
I took Tilly to go see Cars.
Okay.
Best $11 nap I've ever had, ever. by the way.
Wait, Cars 3?
Yeah, Cars 3.
You know, that Steve McQueen, like, get destroyed in that? That's, like, terrifying.
I love
That's
like for a children's movie, they make like one of the most gritty.
and realistic.
And
Ever.
it's not Steve McQueen, it's Lightning McQueen. Steve
Whatever.
McQueen, the
Was
actor.
a
But,
great actor.
but anyway, all right.
Stupid
It was,
millennial.
well, actually, it wasn't like that at all. Like, they made this trailer where I was like,
I may or may not take my child to see this.
I am not going to take my kid to this. So, well, what I did is I set my mom there with Jack to the 12 o'clock show.
Okay.
She was like my canary in the coal mine. Because
Oh,
Jack, he's 3. So, like, his idea of having fun at the movie is to, like, get up and run around down at the front part there. So, like, he'll do that, like, for the whole 2 hours. And I'm just sitting there eating popcorn, just watching the film, and he's like, running around. Like, so I'm like, okay. So Mom came home, she said, yeah, it was fine. There wasn't anything really wrong with it. So, but yeah, so we get there, and we have the old AMC, not the AMC, but the old Carmike bucket that they
Yeah.
sold us, right? And so I had my bucket, and so they came over there. And I'm also a Stubbs member. Do you know about this?
I don't.
All right, so at AMC, they have different levels of membership. And if you're a Stubbs Rewards member, where you pay an extra $15, right? You don't have to pay for the convenience fee for your tickets. You get priority seating over other people. You get all this stuff, right? But you also get free refills on your popcorn.
Oh, nice.
Because like before, when you were at Carmike and you had the bucket, you would get a free refill. That was just part of the deal.
Then they jacked it up to like $3.95, and then it's continued to skyrocket up.
Well, now they don't even do it anymore. So I bring the bucket anyway, and I say, hey, I'm a Stubbs member. I want the large popcorn and things like that. So we get it, and my whole bill, because it was me and Tilly and Melissa, came to like, and I had like Stubbs money, so like I spent $7, right? But I tipped the kid like a tenner, so I like spent 17, right?
Yeah.
A $10 tip to bring me some frickin' popcorn. All right, not hard. So I put it down like that, and I actually take it and I put it in the big bucket and I hand it over to Tills, right? So so I push the thing again, and the server comes back out, and she's like, "Ugh, is there something that you need?" I'm like, yes, I would like more popcorn, please. Right? And I actually, hand her the bucket, and she's like, we'll get you a fresh bucket. And I'm like, well, okay. And then she looks over at Tilly and says, I really don't think you should be eating any more popcorn. Do you?
Oh.
And that's when Daddy loses his mind.
That server is so fired.
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you kidding me with this? Are you seriously saying this to my child at this moment in time?"
That's never, like, for one thing, every parent I've met, including my own, have been super protective of their child.
Yeah.
If you're a good parent, most of the time you are. There's some good
It's
parents
just
that aren't.
instinctive.
But,
It's nuts.
to call a kid fat, call me fat all you want. Call Jesse fat. It's the truth. But don't call a kid fat.
I like it when you call me fat.
She started, I heard and I was like, hold the phone. I said, you don't get to talk to my kid that way. And then that's when I stand up. And I am an imposing man when I want to be, and when I move to wrath, right? Because I present this vibe that says, I don't care if I kill you. I don't. I am a sociopath. I am by nature, right? And I honestly, I could snap your neck and then go back to my popcorn and watch the movie and be okay with it. And then a year later, it'll be like, oh, today's the anniversary of the day you killed that girl. Oh, well, okay. Yay. Do I need to send her parents something? I mean, that is my reaction, so I unloaded on this young woman. And so she went and got the manager guy, and he came in, and it's the guy I know, whose name I will not repeat because, and he was like,
We'll call him Bob Dole.
yeah. I go, what happened here? And I was like, so anyway, long story short, right? I got to watch someone get fired immediately and apologize to my daughter, right? Which made her feel better and empowered, and Tilly just looked at her and she goes, you know what? You're a very mean person, but I forgive you nonetheless. And I'm thinking, oh, my daughter just stabbed her in the heart.
It's like a little proud sociopathic tear.
Kid for the win.
Because that woman is now sitting like in the unemployment line, rocking back and forth, holding her legs, thinking, I'm a mean person, but I was forgiven. But I can't forgive myself. And that's the kind of psychological torture we like in the Evans household.
I'll tell you what, I've only been there once, and that was when we did the Star Wars thing. And speaking of Star Wars, if you care to join us around December on the release of The Last Jedi, EMTX will be doing a special night at Ovation.
Right, December the 14th, as a matter of fact. We will be doing our big thing. And this year we're actually going to be able to incorporate real virtual reality. Last year we tried to do it and just everything, the stars did not align the way that we wanted to, but this coming year we'll actually have VR on site, so people who don't have an extra $1,000 laying around to buy a VR unit that's actually worth a damn can come out and try it. So come on down to your local Ovation Theater.
Sarah and I went there for her birthday, and we went and saw Wonder Woman. That is a most excellent movie.
Yes.
Hate the comic book character, love the movie. I'll tell you why. Because I love, and it's not because I'm a sexist, because Black Canary is and I should say Green Arrow is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yeah.
Black Canary is way better. She's just awesome.
Yeah.
I love Batgirl. Supergirl's one of my favorite characters. It's just in the overall theme. Wonder Woman,
they dropped the
most
ball
of the
with Black
comics,
Canary on
doesn't do anything for me.
So I'm still working my way through this season where they finally picked up the new girl.
Oh yeah,
the new one. But I'm okay with what they did with Laurel Lance. I thought that and that added a dimension to Oliver because he had gone in this whole I'm not gonna kill anyone. Like seriously, dude, you're the green flipping arrow.
Yeah.
Okay, you shoot people through the heart. That's what you do.
And you're a sociopath because you make fun of it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him, is because he's Batman light.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, Batman's probably my favorite character of all time. Just because I started out with the Adam West Batman movie and then went straight to the Tim Burton. It was like, yeah, this dark thing
Yeah.
with like Jack Nicholas as the Joker. I always get the golfer and the actor confused for some reason.
Nicholson is the
Yeah.
actor.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I did. Never mind, I got it right.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. I was like, I don't know why you.
I don't know why. There's
you know,
something in my
it's because you have
brain.
low
Just trust.
self-esteem,
Just,
kind of like the Riddler.
just trust your gut.
No, I am not the Riddler.
You're not Enigma.
If I was a Batman villain, I would either be like a Bane or a Joker. Because honestly, if I get to the point to where I don't care, I'm just gonna become a megalomaniac like Lex Luthor. I'm gonna take over the world one day just to do it. Own it for like 10 years, and I'm bored of this. You guys can have back your freedom.
If I was a Batman villain, I would be henchman number 3.
Nah, you'd be more like a polka dot man.
Yeah, so there was a show on television called Powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, and they canceled it, which I think was a giant mistake. It was about the people who actually live in the city that the superheroes try to protect, and it's about this group of engineers who actually make products to try to keep people safe. And it was a really good show.
It had Alan Tudyk, which is all
Yeah,
you have to
I
do
mean-
to sell me on anything.
Anytime Wash is in something,
There's 3 people that you can tell me is in something, and I will immediately watch it.
Yeah.
That is Tim Curry, Adam Tuyik, or Alan Rickman.
For me, it would be Harrison Ford, Alan Tudyk, Nathan Fillion, and Mel Gibson. He may be a little bit racist, but Lethal Weapon's
he's not a
still-
racist. He's an anti-Semite.
Eh,
There's a
There
difference.
is a huge difference, but
A big
He
difference.
I should say
He
he
hates
may
another
be an
religion.
ass, but he's done great stuff. Case in point, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Still my favorite buddy cop movie.
What was the one he did? The Passion of the Christ. There you go.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot too.
That movie is so bizarre, and so it's like the story's bizarre enough, but like he amped it up, like with the snake coming out that little girl's nose and all that. It's like, really, dude. It's not bad enough that you're showing us this brutal stuff here, that you gotta kick it up to 11, Spinal Tap style. Come on. So
He also did that with
Spinal
like, the
Tap.
Apocalypto movie.
Well, and Passion of the Christ was torture porn for religious guys.
I really did like Apocalypto because it was really, like, honestly, from with my little history background, I spent a summer abroad in Mexico. So it was tough duty. So I spent 3 weeks in Mexico City, and then I spent the rest of the time excavating in Cancun. Yeah. It was
Tough job.
tough job. Yeah, so the professor would be like, yeah, we're going to like work on the site from like Monday through Wednesday, and then from Wednesday evening on, the time is yours. So like Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, it was just crazy undergradness going on in Mexico.
In a foreign country,
Yep.
nonetheless.
Well, let's jump back into some ethics stuff here. So a question that Jared and I had earlier that we wanted to talk to you about was, where do you draw the line in too much control of your kids' online presence?
Well, there is no line. You have to monitor that. I mean, that's part of being a responsible parent. Like my kids know that they can go to these websites and these websites only. And right now they're like 6 and 3, so it's not that big of a deal. Like they want to go to ABC Mouse, they want to go to Mickey Mouse Club and things like that. It's when they start getting to like 13 through 16, that's when you got to have these talks. It's like, listen, right? I get that you're going to go to Pornhub, right? I understand, because when I was a kid, I snuck in porn magazines because that was the medium of pornography. Right? It's a human biological need to masturbate. It just is. All right. It's just built in. It's built into you to do that. All right. So, you've got to weigh the morality to the reality. And the thing is, you've got to, like with Jack, I'm going to be like, listen, this is all fantasy. Okay. This has nothing to do with reality. If you want to see how a real relationship is and then you need to look at me and Miss Melissa, right? And how we conduct ourselves and how we're passionate and we're affectionate to one another. I mean, we I'm not saying that, I'm humping her in front of the kids or anything, but I mean, they see us holding hands and, and they see us kiss, and Tilly's like, oh my God, you're kissing your girlfriend. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, that's what we do. But it sets that standard up. If you want to put your kids into a cocoon, you're asking for trouble. I'm a preacher's kid, so I am speaking from experience.
Disclaimer: I am too.
Yeah, and
I'm from an independent Baptist background. My dad is like, but the thing that I think I had an advantage over, my dad grew up as a pastor's kid, so I'm second generation pastor's child. And my grandfather was like the strict guy. My dad had like the long hair, played bass in a rock band, would go out. They even had like a really good, back in high school, he had a really good kind of little scam going. They would do a $5 red cup to start out. And no, it was free. The first time you get a beer, and they'd buy a couple kegs. Every other time was like $5. And he's like, back in high school, I'm not proud to say this, but we cleared a lot of money.
So he basically did the same thing the drug dealers do. The first time it's free, and after you're hooked, that's where the money comes in.
I mean, yeah, he's not proud of that. But, I mean, growing up, him and my mother agreed that they didn't really want us to do a lot of that. Like, so back in the day, I'd watch a lot of, like, Bible Man, VeggieTales, Power Rangers.
yeah,
And when I would watch, like, anything other than that, I'd go to my grandparents' house. And they were very good about kind of monitoring that, too. I am one of the success stories of that because my dad sheltered me just enough to protect me from the outside world, but not enough to where I became, like, the super hermit that eventually just loses their mind.
And with me, it was funny. It's kind of the opposite. My dad, he hung sheep, and my mom is a preschool teacher. Daycare teacher, really. She, I grew up with my mom, and she tried to shelter us pretty good, but at the same time, she was really open about a lot of stuff. Like, she didn't monitor too much what we were watching, except for at certain points we were only allowed to watch religious films, and for the most part, we could watch whatever else we wanted to watch on cartoons and whatnot. I grew up kind of being able to give my own self limit, and that kind of translated into who I've become as a person.
My upbringing is not too unsimilar to that. My parents set clear guidelines, and I've always been intelligent enough to realize that, I step over the line once and I see the consequences. I don't like it, so I stay within my limit. I will say, for the most part, they were like very open. Like my dad, when I turned 13, and he like finally had the talk. I was maybe 11 when he did that. Maybe like been overshooting a little bit, but he was like, "If you have any questions, just come to me. Whether they're embarrassing or not, I want you to come to me. I will answer them for you. I'll answer them honestly. I may not like the question, but I'm gonna be there for you because I understand that you're going to eventually want to talk about this type of stuff."
So another back to the monitoring. Going online, I've seen some things about Pure.
yeah,
Which is a filter
mm-hmm.
that was created,
Yep.
and it takes snapshots of the websites you visit, monitors your communications, and sends reports back to the parents.
Right.
What's the standard for that?
Well, to me, that this is just a matter of trust. Like if you've got to do that with your kid, that means you don't trust your kid. I mean, that's just the bottom line. If you trust your child and you instill in them this idea that, hey, there's right and wrong, then you're not going to have these issues. Where people have issues is when you keep everything locked down, where you don't talk about the real world. Like I make sure that I watch the news every night and that my kids are on, and they complain and they want to watch Netflix and crap like that. I'm like, no, I'm going to watch the news, and then we have a conversation about terrorism, and we have because I want them to understand that this is the world that they live in. I've done well enough where I can send my kids to private school, but I don't because private school is not the real world. In the real world, you're going to have to learn how to navigate with African American, with Asian American, with Latinos. Right? You're going to have to negotiate your space and figure out your comfort level. And I mean, sometimes it's a pain. I mean, sometimes she comes home and she's upset because some girl said something to her, some boy did something, and I get that. Right? But then she learns some resilience, and that she learns to stand up for herself. Whereas if it's a private school, you're not going to have that same interaction because you'll have a teacher just swoop in and be like, oh, and then you've got to write 10 Bible verses or whatever the hell they do in private school. I'm not sure. I was never fortunate enough to.
I went to a private boarding school for a year.
Was it a military school?
No. It was a very religious institution.
Yeah, I only went to public schools. I will say, in my county, I was always able to go to the best of because my mom worked for the county. But even in my high school, there were a lot of different things. And you can call me anything, but there's one thing you cannot call me, and that is a racist. Because I spent 4 years of my life as the token white kid in our Black History Month program. And it was fun because I had all different type of ethnicities as friends.
See that's it where this could be a whole podcast on why you're wrong. You can be a racist.
I mean, I can, but I'm not.
You probably are. You just don't know it. That's okay.
No.
No, I'm serious. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I do have sometimes bigoted thoughts, but as the core definition of racism, wanting my race to be better than anyone else, nah. I'm something you call an equal opportunist. I hate everybody equally.
There you go. Okay, but still, we still use that prism of race.
That is true.
Stuff like that.
And I mean, I've never met a single person in my entire life that hasn't had at least one racist thought. Heck, a lot of the black people I hung out with were just hilarious with them. I knew one dude who was the blackest guy I ever knew, the most racist against his own kind I've ever seen. And I laughed at first when he told me that. He's like, no, I'm being dead serious. I can't stand.
So it was Uncle Rucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good example.
How we brought Boondocks into that great show.
Yeah. I mean, you can't talk about America without talking about race because that's how we built this society.
Yeah, and I've seen take the whole New Orleans thing in which they want to get rid of the statue. That's fine, but I like their kind of resolve about it. It's we're not getting rid of it; we're putting it in a museum.
Yeah,
and I mean, you look at
it's a history that doesn't need to be celebrated. And I say this as a great grandson of a Confederate veteran, in fact, a Confederate general, Braxton Bragg, who lost Atlanta. He wasn't a very good general, but yeah. Anyway, I've never understood why. I do understand because I'm well read and I actually got my doctorate, so I have an understanding. But as just a normal person, why we would erect statue to traitors? I mean, it's not like you go to England and you can go find the Guy Fawkes, statue. I mean,
he got a rhyme though.
Well, yeah, he got a rhyme and a hell of a celebration. I don't know if you've ever been there, for Guy Fawkes Day, but if that is a good time.
Also,
buddy of mine
because of
was
Guy
born
Fawkes,
on that day.
I got one of my favorite anti-heroes, V.
Oh yeah, V for Vendetta. Yeah.
Also, another Vertigo property, Alan Moore, one of the most curmudgeon-y men I've ever seen in my life. Anything that he does that's instant gold. The Watchmen is an example.
Yep.
And or one of my favorite Batman storylines, The Killing Joke, he hates. And he hates, not only does he hate it, he hates it with an undying passion.
Yeah. Speaking of Vertigo, Brian Vaughan's Y the Last Man is probably one of the best series ever. Every single man on the planet dies from some mysterious illness all at one time. And then there's just this dude.
And a monkey.
Ampersand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a very, very good comic. And 15-year-old Mark likes the lesbian scenes. Just throwing that out there.
That's the same. That's the same artist that brought us Lucifer.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
That's a fun little comic series in itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think Fox has done a good job with the show.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job.
I wish they could have held on to their Constantine property, but
I'm fine with the CW taking it over as long as they don't give it the Arrow treatment.
Well, I mean,
just to make it an adult teen drama.
Yeah.
All they did with it was use Constantine in 2 episodes, and that was it. You're never going to hear about Constantine.
If we're going to go down this avenue, there are a lot of things I want CW to do. Give me what Fox has failed to do, an actually good Batman show.
Yeah.
I like Gotham, but they're going to Smallville me, and when I get Smallville,
Yeah.
I tend to go full Nerd Rage. I waited 10 seasons for that stupid suit.
Not to
And-
mention 10 seasons from to actually fly.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then like the very last episode, I wasted 2 hours to see him put on the suit for like maybe 30 minutes. It's so infuriating because I love
What's crazy
that.
what's crazy is that the show's all like, oh yeah, he's not going to get flying until last because flying is the hard power. It's like, why? Flying is the least is the power he's got that's the least likely to break the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Shooting lasers out of his eyes, that's fine. X-ray vision, that was cool. Ice breath. I love that they brought ice breath in because he had a cold.
Yeah.
It was very good writing, like for his and I'm not really that big into the campy stuff unless we're talking about Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jaime Reyes, best Blue Beetle.
I don't know. I like Ted Kord. He was fun
Yeah.
up until he like gets killed in Infinite Crisis. I'll admit, like I was sad. I was like, oh god, why couldn't it be Booster Gold?
Yeah.
Just let he doesn't need to exist anymore. Just kill him.
I like Booster Gold. He's hilarious.
What's great
just
is
your
that
opinion.
we've now lost like 3/4 of the audience. They're like, who is that?
Probably.
It's sad. That's why I have to watch what I say when I'm in class, like when I make cultural references, because there will be times where I'm about to say something, and in my head it's brilliant and it gets everything across. But if I say it out loud, it just crickets, and I'll get this look like,
Which is the downside of running a class with a bunch of 18-year-olds in it.
yeah. I mean, so
I will say that most of the people on our program will get most references because a lot of the people I know in this program are huge comic book nerds and or video game nerds.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's a creative program. It's not like the other programs on campus are designed for you to get this job. Like if you get into welding, right? The idea here is at the end of it, you're going to go and weld somewhere, and that's perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you go into networking, you're going to learn how to network computers, and we need that sort of stuff. But this program was designed with the idea that the new economy doesn't work that way. That you need to be good at lots of things and be able to put them together to be able to create your own job, to be able to excel, And that's why I give you guys a lot of latitude and leeway. People are like, I don't understand why you don't like give us rubrics and things like that. It's like because there's no rubrics in life, I mean, you're going to leave this program next May, and you're going to have skills that are sought out. And if you don't find work, that's really on you. It's like I keep telling people, hey, what's your niche? What is it the thing that you want to do? Allgood is really, really good at 3D printing.
Oh yeah, he is.
Which means that he's also really good at manipulating 3D objects.
And graphic design.
Yep, which is exactly what you need in Atlanta at any of the big movie houses.
Him.
Not even just the movie houses, but I mean, a lot of with my girlfriend Sarah, she's a drafter, and they work a lot in SolidWorks or Inventor, which is again manipulating 3D images.
Yep.
So I mean, he could go into something that we haven't even talked about in this course.
Yeah, and I mean Tim Kelly, who is my business partner, is probably
One of his business partners.
the only one I truly love. Sorry to break.
Who's the other one?
That's hurtful.
Oh, you have this thing against success?
No, I mean I love Jesse.
That's
I'm
really
just saying.
hurtful, too.
Tim's just a fun dude to be around because he doesn't try to be funny, but he's literally a man outside of time. He was born in the wrong decade.
Oh yeah, he grew up in the early 1920s and then accidentally time traveled to the 1950s, fell in love, and then accidentally time traveled again.
Has he broken out the Boulder yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
He has like an original Stinson, like top hat. It's got the full like 1920s gangster suit.
Oh yeah.
Boy, I went over to Tim's dad's house where he lives now, and he gave me an original like Red Arrow, like I can't remember what it was. I think it was Kingdom Come action figure that I have in my room now, and I'm like, Tim, this is probably worth money, and if I ever sell it, I'm not sharing a dime with you. And he's just like, I don't care. I was like, okay. And Tim's a genius when it comes to robots. I've never seen anyone that can do it the way he does.
Oh yeah, Tim is great when it comes to robotics.
Yeah.
We've shared a lot of ideas just in discourse, and I mean he blows me away a lot. I mean, his ideas they are the future, and yet he blends it so well with the aesthetics of the past.
Yeah.
And it's weird because every shortcoming I have, Tim compliments, and every shortcoming he has, I compliment. And we have had like a lot of similar ideas, just like years apart. That's why I say like I like working with Tim a lot because there is an unspoken thing. Same thing with Jesse. There are aspects of Jesse that I compliment, and other aspects that he compliments with me.
Have you guys set up your LLC and all that yet?
We're
We actually just started talking about it.
Oh, the short answer was no.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're working on it.
Okay.
Yep. But hey, you know, once we get it set up, you can totally send people to intern with us.
You see how this works now?
Yeah.
You're right.
He's an innovator, man. He's gonna be up there with Tesla.
Plus,
One of the
I hope not Tesla, because no one knows who the hell that guy is.
I'll be honest with you. I like Tesla a hell of a lot more than I like Edison.
Yeah.
Edison was a dirtbag.
let's
But
talk about it.
Edison wins.
He does.
He was the Donald Trump of engineering.
Oh my God!
Here's-
He really was.
He
Here's the
is.
main
Yeah.
difference between Tesla and Edison. Okay, Tesla was in it for the art. Tesla was an artist, and Edison was a rock star.
Yep.
Edison was in it to get paid.
I like the fact that they brought like Tesla in on The Prestige, which is one of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So much fun.
The Prestige is a great film.
It is just like the plot twist. It took me like 2 times to fully understand the plot of the movie, as it does with every other Christopher Nolan. I'm probably gonna have to go see Dunkirk a couple times to understand it. 'Cause
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch Dunkirk because that just looks. The trailers are so intense.
oh, I am
Yeah.
100% on board. You put Christopher Nolan on anything, I'm instantly sold. He can make a shit movie, and I will be 100% fanboying the entire time.
I mean, you got Kenneth Branagh in there, who is probably, I would say, probably the greatest Shakespearean actor.
So
To come
underrated
out
too.
of-
Kenneth Branagh is
I mean,
amazing.
You know, plus he was like Emma Thompson. Being Emma Thompson, boy, in the '90s. I'm telling you,
I loved her on Love Actually,
she was good.
and she's a wonderful teapot.
I love that movie so much. That's probably one of my favorite Hugh Grant related things. Is
Oh, yeah, Love Actually.
Yeah, Love Actually.
What's the guy? He played the rock star. I can never remember his actual name.
Oh yeah, but I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
because he's also a vampire.
Yeah,
And then there
yeah.
was that whole
It was
scandal.
so I tried to watch that movie with my mom, and no, it didn't happen.
This is actually the second time Love Actually has been brought up too.
Yeah.
Because the first time we were talking about Liam Neeson and how I can't take him seriously as a tough guy because he was in Love Actually.
He was a very sensitive dad.
He was.
The
You're-
kid grows up to do.
Your heart kind of breaks for him. You want him to find love.
You.
I mean, it really does. You're like, crap. You know, I mean, like, Merry Christmas, your wife's dead. You know,
And then he ends up with Claudia Schiffer, the joke
Yeah.
that they made earlier on.
Yeah.
I was like, yep. Still today, like, Claudia Schiffer is still good looking to me.
Oh yeah. And Colin Firth's Portuguese in that movie is amazing.
That was a fun little scene.
it's just a fun movie. It's a good movie because it makes you feel something. You
Yeah.
know, like rom-coms can either be great or they can be just terrible. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's no middle ground. There's not like, well, it was a decent movie. No,
That's
they're
what I was
either
gonna say.
really good or really bad.
You either
And
love the movie wholeheartedly or you hate it with an undying passion.
Well, it's the law of comedy. Comedy can't be because
Yeah.
comedy either has to be good and you have to laugh, or comedy will be bad, which makes you uncomfortable.
My favorite Hugh Grant movie, since we opened this door, is Notting Hill.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen Notting
It
Hill.
is a very good film. Mostly because I just love the transitions. You know, I mean, because I talk about transitions all the time in the class. So, but I mean, just how they use the transitions to demonstrate the movement of time, it was unbelievable. It was like, oh, that's just genius.
500 Days of Summer, whether you love or hate it, they kind of did that. It was a good movie. I
Yeah.
like how there's no set linear timeline. It just kind of jumps around. And now that we've talked about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, have you ever seen the movie Hesher?
Yeah,
He hasn't.
Oh,
I have not.
It's so good. The pool scene is still one of my favorite scenes.
yeah.
For those of you guys that haven't seen it, basically Joseph Gordon-Levitt breaks into this person's like backyard when they're not home, and Natalie Portman and some random kid are standing there, and she's like, "Whose house is this? This house? Fucking uncle's house." She's like, "Where's his uncle? Or where's your uncle?" He's like, "Behind you." Pushes him into the pool. Starts throwing stuff. And it's like, "R2, shut down the trash compactor! Shut down the fucking trash compactor!" He like starts trashing the pool. Like lights the diving board on fire, does a flip, and they're like, "Jesus Christ, this dude's delusional." Also has my favorite movie scene of all time, which is the funeral scene.
Oh.
Oh boy, his
Oh.
left nut, man. It's some emotional stuff. I say, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
All right. Well, hey, gentlemen, I hate to cut this, but I got to go.
It's all good. And in closing,
I've
I
got a
want you
5:30
guys to have a
meeting,
great
so.
day.
Gotta get it done.
All right, goodbye, everybody.